This week on Houston Newsmakers, a chance to meet the superintendent. His name is Richard Carranza. He comes to Houston from San Francisco, ready to take the state's largest school district to new levels of accomplishment. What are they, and how will he do it? We'll ask him that question and much more. And culture time on Houston Newsmakers as the Houston Symphony kicks off its new season this weekend. What's special about this year's lineup, and why should you care? And Mayor Sylvester Turner announced this week a solution to the pension underfunding problem, but is it? We start that discussion this week on Houston Newsmakers.
From KPRC Channel 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
And good morning and welcome to Houston Newsmakers, where this morning we have the opportunity to speak with Richard Carranza, who in August was approved by the school board as the new superintendent of the Houston Independent School District. Good morning and thank you for being here.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is great to have you here. I want to ask your impressions about HISD in a bit, but first, where were you when you found out about the opportunity that might present itself here in Houston?
I was actually in San Francisco coming out of a meeting when I got an alert that Superintendent Greer had announced his retirement. That was really the first news that I had ever heard that there might be an opportunity to come to Houston.
Were your antennas up for such an opportunity, or how did that, or were you just on an alert system to let people know when superintendents are leaving? Well,
you know, we all know each other, right. So you know, we kind of follow each other, and so I was following what was happening in Houston, but Houston's been on my radar for quite a while. It's an innovative school system. I've had the opportunity to work with many different HISD employees on a national basis, and I've always been impressed by the innovation and the intuitiveness of the school district. So it's always kind of in the back of my mind that if there was ever an opportunity, I'd probably take a look.
You know, and I think what some people may forget about from time to time is that HISD won the Broad Prize for innovation in an urban district. Twice it did that.
Twice.
Under two different leaders. So that shows that there is some sort of foundation. So when you started to do a more deep dive into HISD, when you started to consider this, what have been your first impressions, good and the not so good, about what HISD is doing right now?
Well, you know, contrary to what people may hear, you know, HISD is a phenomenal school district. It's a diverse school system. It's got some of the most passionate individuals that I've ever met. The time that I've spent, I've been in classrooms every single day. I've met lots of folks. I'm on a listening and learning tour, so I'm meeting with communities almost every night in different parts of the city. But there are some incredible things happening here in Houston and Houston ISD. Challenges are challenges that every urban school district in America is facing. Disproportionality in terms of discipline, academic achievement for all students is a big issue. In particular here in Houston, the whole issue of the Robin Hood recapture is a huge issue for us that I'm hoping the public will pay attention to.
And what about that specifically is important for the public to know about? Because most people say, oh, you say Robin Hood recapture, most of them it goes above their head. Why is it so important for people to kind of understand what that's all about?
Well, it's important because $162 million will go back to the state of Texas in February from the taxpayers here in Houston, because Houston ISD has been identified as a property wealthy school district, which means that they're going to take $162 million this year. That'll increase to close to $300 million the following year and close to $400 million the third year. It's called recapture. There's an election in November where voters in Houston will have to vote for or against recapture. Now, the reason that's important is that it doesn't take into account the fact that 80% of our students in Houston ISD qualify for free and reduced lunch. So while we may have property wealth, we don't have students that are wealthy. And there are needs to educating students.
So you want the voters, when they see that on the ballot, to vote for or against that particular, what is it, against, as the way it's going to be presented on the ballot?
Well, I'm a public employee, so I can't advocate one way or another.
I see.
But there are elected trustees that are out in the community having town halls and having community meetings.
Okay.
They will be more than happy to share with voters how they should vote.
Already walking that fine line. I love the way you do that. Okay, so as you come to Houston, some of the challenges have to do with board. I mean, they are the bosses, so to speak, and even though we have great accomplishments over this last period of time, when the former superintendent Greer left, by the time he left, there was some board members who weren't really happy with the way things were going. What's the key to having a successful relationship with the board and making sure everything moves forward in the way that you want it to happen?
Well, you know, people think I'm a little crazy when I say this, but one of the things that really interested me about Houston was the board. As I met with the Board of Trustees, there's not one member of the Board of Trustees that doesn't have the same vision. They want students to be successful. They want all students to be successful. Where the differences come in is how do we get there? So I can work with that. And part of my commitment to the board has been that we're going to work as a team of 10. There's going to be no surprises. We're going to be transparent, but we're going to engage with some very difficult, hefty questions about how do we get to a point where all students in Houston, regardless of where they live, regardless of zip code, all students are getting a quality education. Everyone's rallying around that call to action.
A couple of issues as you come in, they're already existing before you get here. One of the things that's on the list of getting a lot of attention now is a special education issue where the state has put in some numbers that indicate that 8.5% is where the special education should not be any higher than that as far as the enrollment is concerned. And that's well below what the national average is. What is your challenge when you come in and see that? Because I know where you were in San Francisco, the number was higher in terms of how you allowed special education students in there. What's your take on that and the challenge of trying to make sure that all students get that education, special education or not?
Well, interestingly enough, one of the very first meetings that I had scheduled this first week that I've been on the job was with my special education department. My entire career as a teacher, a principal, central office administrator, I've always been particularly interested in historically underserved students, special education students, students with disabilities, English language learner students, making sure that we've built systems and structures to support those students. So I was already meeting with our special education department. What I will say is in my initial investigation about what we do in Houston ISD, it's contrary to the narrative because in Houston ISD, the district has done an incredible job at really building capacity for classroom teachers to meet the needs of students with disabilities. I was very, very impressed with the work that's already been done. So my initial impression is that part of the low numbers of students that are actually being referred into special ed programs is not because of an artificial cap that we have in the district. It really is because classroom teachers are doing a phenomenal job at differentiating for students with disabilities before they even have to get identified into a special ed self-contained classroom. Now, of course, we're going to keep our pulse on what's happening. We're going to make sure that we're looking under the hood, making sure that there is no semblance of any kind of a cap. But I will tell you right now that what I've seen is very impressive in terms of what our special education department's doing.
You're spending a lot of time in the schools. One of the first things you did on the first day was go out and start seeing schools and in the classrooms. It is so neat watching the students who were with the superintendent. They had to feel really good about that. The listen and learn tour you're on now. It sounds amazing to me. You're actually going to be in schools, and this is not just for the students. This is for the parents, for the community to come out and be a part and to kind of give you input on what they're thinking, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm introducing myself to the Houston community, and it's pretty much every night. Some days it's two events a night. We're in the community. Nobody's coming to the central office. I'm going out to schools, and we want parents and grandparents and neighbors and aunts and uncles and cousins. It's to come out and share with me what's going well. What are things that you absolutely love about the school or the school district? And what are some challenges that I should be thinking about as I come into this new role?
And it's almost every day between now and Thanksgiving,
Between now and Thanksgiving, yeah. So, and the trustees, the Board of Education, each trustee has taken special care in setting up meetings so that we're actually in the homes, if you will, of the majority of the district, every piece of the district, every corner of the district, by design. And I love that because I want to get to know the community and hear from the community.
Well, I'm sure they're very interested in doing the same and getting to know you and giving their input. The Houston area people are not shy about giving their opinion. You may have found that out already.
Love it.
We're going to have more with the HISD Superintendent Richard Carranza after this break, including what role his Mexican heritage plays and how he's perceived in one of the most diverse communities in America. That's next when Houston Newsmakers continues.